On October 27, 2018, Robert Bowers walked into the Tree of Life Synagogue in the Squirrel Hill neighborhood of Pittsburgh, and he murdered 11 innocent Jewish worshipers who had gathered to share together in the practice of their faith. He killed half of the people in that building. He murdered them because they were Jewish. He also shot 2 other congregants, and he tried to kill every other person in that building that day. On that day, now almost 5 years ago, he committed the worst anti-Semitic mass shooting in United States history. During his attack, Robert Bowers shot and injured 4 police officers, brave members of the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police who responded to the synagogue to help save lives and rescue worshipers. The defendant shot at and tried to kill many other responding law enforcement officers that day. Since October 27, 2018, nothing has been the same. Not for the families who lost beloved family members, and not for those who survived but bear the scars, physical and emotional, every day of their lives. I want to thank the members of the jury for their attention and commitment to their civic duty throughout this 2-month trial. This trial demanded a lot of them, and we owe them our gratitude. While today's verdict may mean many things to people, it cannot change what happened on October 27, 2018. It cannot bring back any of the 11 victims. No verdict can set things right or restore what was lost that morning. As in every case, our responsibility and goal has been to seek justice on behalf of the victims and the community. And every day since October 27, 2018, that is what we have tried to do. To do our part to seek justice for the victims and to hold this defendant accountable to the fullest extent of the law. I need to recognize the tremendous dedication and selflessness of all those involved in seeking justice in this case. And that starts with the first responders. The very first were uniformed Pittsburgh police officers who rushed into danger on that fateful morning to save lives. They put their lives on the line to help, and as one officer testified, it's what they do. The same is true for the Pittsburgh and Allegheny County SWAT operators who entered the synagogue and saved the lives of surviving victims hiding throughout the building. Ultimately, it was these same courageous SWAT operators who took the defendant into custody, but not until he shot at them twice and wounded multiple officers. The work of Pittsburgh tactical EMS medics who entered with the SWAT team saved lives that day. We are forever grateful for their service. Many other law enforcement agencies from throughout the region raced to Squirrel Hill to assist on that morning, including the Pennsylvania State Police, the South Hills Area Community of Governments, the Northern Regional Police Department, and the Ross Township Police Department. On behalf of our office, I want to thank every one of our state and local partner agencies who supported the initial response that day. We are grateful for the professionalism and dedication of the staff of the Allegheny County Office of the Medical Examiner, who were some of the first personnel in the building and who were responsible for some of the most difficult early work. Our partners from the FBI were also there that morning. As the lead agency, the FBI has worked every single day since to investigate this case and support this prosecution. The special agents, analysts, victim specialists, and support personnel who processed the crime scene and who have worked on this case since that day have devoted hundreds and hundreds of hours toward this effort. In particular, I want to recognize the unparalleled commitment of the FBI case agents, Special Agents Brian Collins and Samantha Bell. There are no finer agents in law enforcement, and we are proud to stand with them every day. We also want to recognize the contributions of the dedicated staff at the FBI's laboratory at Quantico, who shouldered the enormous task of analyzing hundreds of pieces of forensic evidence in this case, and who were critical in reconstructing, to the extent they could, what happened inside the synagogue that morning. We are also grateful to the ATF and its valuable assistance throughout. Our team at the U.S. Attorney's Office has been working without interruption on this case since the day of the shooting. I have never seen an office come together in pursuit of justice and in support of a community like our office did in those early days. Every single person in this office, from lawyers to paralegals to legal assistants, worked together to make sure that this case was investigated thoroughly and that the defendant was held accountable for his crimes. Victim witness specialist Adrienne Howe has dedicated herself to supporting the victims in this case and making sure that their statutory rights are respected. Adrienne's work is a model for how to build and maintain trust between prosecuting offices and the victim community. We are so fortunate to have her here in the Western District of Pennsylvania. I also need to recognize the unwavering dedication of my trial partners and colleagues from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Assistant United States Attorneys Troy Ravetti, Sue Song, and Nicole Vasquez-Schmidt, as well as trial attorney Mary Hahn from the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division, and trial attorneys Barry Disney and A.J. Stewart from the Department of Justice's Criminal Division. Finally, I have to acknowledge the victims. This case, at its core, is about the victims, the ones who are no longer with us, and the ones who have so bravely and gracefully carried the trauma of that day every day since. This case has always been about those who survived and those who bear witness for the 11 who did not. Joyce Feinberg, Richard Gottfried, Rose Mallinger, Jerry Rabinowitz, Cecil Rosenthal, David Rosenthal, Bernice Simon, Sylvan Simon, Dan Stein, Melvin Wax, and Irving Younger. The victims and family members have been a constant source of support and strength throughout the long road that has been this case. They have been a valued presence in the courthouse every single day since the jury selection process started months ago. They have testified as witnesses in this trial. They shared their loss and pain, and their strength is an inspiration. The formal sentencing hearing will take place tomorrow. Victims will exercise their statutory right to speak, to share the impact of their losses, to describe how the defendant's crimes have impacted them and their families, and then the judge will impose his formal sentence. The evidence in this trial proved that the defendant acted because of white supremacist, anti-Semitic, and bigoted views that unfortunately are not original or unique to him. Sadly, they are too common. Our Constitution protects a person's right to hold repugnant beliefs. But our Constitution also protects every person's right to practice his or her faith. And when people who espouse white supremacist, anti-Semitic, and bigoted views pick up weapons and use them to kill or to try to kill people because of their faith, our office and our partners in law enforcement will hold them accountable to the fullest extent of the law each and every time. I want to acknowledge Christopher Ragland, Assistant and Acting Police Chief from the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police, who's standing here today, And I'll now ask Assistant Special Agent in Charge Christopher Giordano to make a few remarks on behalf of the FBI.
Thank you, U.S. Attorney Olsham. Today marks the end of one of the darkest chapters in this city's history. Nearly 5 years ago, members of the Tree of Life, Dor Hadash, and New Light congregations had their lives changed forever. They were going about their normal Saturday routine when the sound of gunshots rang out. One hate-filled individual shattered their time of community and reflection by killing 11 congregants, wounding others, including responding police officers, heroes, running towards the sound of gunfire to protect those in need. For the last several months, the families who lost their loved ones and the community have had to relive every second of what happened that day. Today's verdict will never bring back the 11 members of the synagogue who were killed. But to those families who lost loved ones, I hope today allows you to close this terrible chapter and continue moving forward and continue healing. I know that's a hard ask, and nothing may ever bring you complete closure. But please know, we are here for you now, just as we were then, and we will continue to be here for you in the future. Victim specialists have worked with the impacted families since day one, and our work does not end with this sentencing today. I would like to thank the jury for their time and diligence throughout the trial. I know this process has been difficult. And lastly, I want to commend the work done by my FBI personnel, the assistant U.S. attorneys, the Pittsburgh Police, and all of our partner agencies who put in countless hours at the scene that day and every day since preparing for this trial. I have never been more proud to be an FBI agent and stand in the shadow of my case team and the entire partners up here for today's verdict. Unfortunately, what happened at the Tree of Life Synagogue was not the first attack at a house of worship, and it hasn't been the last. I want to assure everyone that the FBI will keep doing everything we can for the people who need it most in our most vulnerable communities and in every community across this country. We are more than just special agents, intelligence analysts, and professional staff at the FBI. We are part of these communities. We live in these communities and we serve in these communities. And I want to make one thing perfectly clear. Hate has no place in our community. We will stop at nothing to keep our community safe. Again, I hope today brings some comfort to those impacted by this terrible crime and to our communities. As we work to heal together, I want to remind everyone that no one can do this alone. We need your help to stop these types of attacks. We need your partnerships to move forward. We are all in this together. Thank you.